about that and do that the way that you think best for our audience this morning, Dr. Madu.
Well, of course, you know, most people, I would say most, you know, don't know exactly where Syria is, because even in the Middle East, Syria, you know, is not a country that people understand. You know, you hear more of Iraq, Iran, Lebanon than Syria. Actually, Syria gained independence in 1946. You know, this is a country that's about 72,000 square miles, not a large country in area of land, with a population of about 22 million, you know, 22 million people in Syria. Geopolitically, Syria is in the Middle East. Geographically, it's where you call the Asia Minor, you know, close to the Iranian border. Syria is, you know, surrounded by about 4 or 5 countries. On one side, you have Iran, you have Jordan, you have Lebanon, you have Turkey, and you have Israel. And that's why what is happening in Syria has a big implication for stability in that part of the world. Now, ethnically, you know, 90% or so of the population of Syria are Arabs. Then you have about 9% Kurds. Then the remaining 1% you have Assyrians, Turkmens, you know, and Circassians. Religiously, you know, you have 4 or so major, you know, religious sects there. About 74% is Sunni Muslims. About 12% is Alawites. Alawites are an offshoot of the Shiite religion that's predominant in Iran and in Lebanon and also in Iraq. Then you have about 10% Christians, and then you have about 3%, you know, others. Now, what is happening, you know, with the problem now is the majority rising up against the minority. Prior to 1966, I say prior to, 1966 was when some group of Air Force officers who belonged to the Ba'ath Party, including the father of the current president, Hafez Assad, overthrew the government, you know, and established a Ba'ath Party, you know, government. In 1971, Assad, you know, took over himself, proclaimed himself president of Syria. Now, Assad comes from an ethnic, a religious minority called the Alawites. The Alawites are an offshoot of the Shiite religion. You know, and the Shiite religion is predominant in Iran. You know, 98% of, you know, Iran is Shiite. They're also about almost half of the population in Lebanon now, even though they don't want to agree to that. And also you have all of them, part of them in Turkey also. You know, and of course in Iraq, those ruling Iraq now are Shiites. Before it was Sunnis under Saddam. So you can see how all this relates. Now when Assad came to power, Hafez Assad, the father of the current president, you know, being a minority Alawite, and that's the first time Alawites have ever taken power. Well, the first thing is to consolidate, you know, knowing that he belongs to a minority group. He has some Sunni, you know, strong Sunni politicians and military officers, you know, behind him. One of those was General Mustafa Atlas, who was the longest serving defense minister after Raul Castro in Cuba. And then there was a man called Abdul Halim Haddam, who was also a strong Sunni politician, who also backed Hafez Assad. So with these 2 strong politicians who are Sunni and others, Assad was able to carry, you know, the Sunni majority in his regime until he died in 2000. In steps his son.
Okay, Dr. Madu, let's stop at this particular point for our first commercial break, and then we'll pick up at that point when we come back, because I think the information that you're giving is really intriguing. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.